Nagpapasalamat tayo sa Diyos dahil sa walang hanggang pag-ibig niya at pagpapala sa atin. Huwag po kalimutan mag-likes, subscribe at comment. So umpisahan na natin.
Genesis 2 verse 4 to 6. This is how the heavens and the earth were created. The Garden of Eden. When the Lord Yahweh created the earth and everything in the heavens, there was not yet any plant or crop on the earth, because the Lord Yahweh had not yet sent rain, and there was still no farmer. But there is already a spring of water that waters the plain on the earth. In this chapter, there is already heaven and earth. Says in Genesis 1 verse 9 to 13, the earth appeared when the waters under the sky were gathered together in one place. And in this verse there is no plant yet, because God hasn't made it rain yet. And in the following verses in Genesis 2 verse 6 there was already a spring of water watering the plain. Now in Genesis 1 verse 11 here God said to have plants in the world. So it means that God made it rain in Genesis 1 verse 11, that this happened on the third day after he created the dry land or earth. In Genesis 1 verse 9 to 10 this is the time of event in Genesis 2 verse 5, because the dry land or world has just appeared. And when God made it rain, the plant grew here. That this event in Genesis 1 verse 11 to 13 third day. In Genesis 2 verse 6, it says that there is a spring of water that sprinkles the plains of the earth. But if we read in English the Hebrew Genesis 2 verse 6 is Mr. Fine drops in Tagalog. And in the Good News translation footnote is a rising cloud that sprinkles the plains of the earth. So in this scene you are connected to Genesis 1 verse 9 to 13. That this is the third day, which is according to Genesis 1 verse 2 that the earth has no shape or has not yet appeared, and the earth is empty because it has not yet been planted with plants. But there is darkness covering the depths, and it is a cloud referred to in Genesis 2 verse 6 that we have already discussed in our story in Genesis 1 verse 2. If you go back to the first stories we made. Alignment set and matching match. Now let's line up if the story is compatible and it will be consecutive time period. Let's start with Genesis 1 verse 2. It says that the earth is formless. Then in Genesis 1 verse 9 to 10, when the earth had no form, it took form. And in Genesis 1 verse 2 the earth is empty. Then from Genesis 1 verse 11 to 12 it is from the empty earth that the earth then plants appeared. Because it rained and there was a plant. And in Genesis 1 verse 2 again there is darkness covering the deep. And when we read in Job 38 verse 9 that God covered the sea with a thick cloud and covered it with darkness. And in Genesis 1 verse 2 again says that the Spirit of God moves on the surface of the water. Let's remember that the flood completely covered the whole earth with water, and what God used to subside the water, and have the earth appeared again. Again it was God blowing his wind or spirit over the water, and there was earth. It is also like the third day when the earth has no form or form. Took form when dry land appeared. And this dry land he called earth. In Genesis 2 verse 5 there is already an earth but nothing or empty. As we read in Genesis 1 verse 9 to 10 that what was called dry land is earth. And there is no rain on the earth during these times. And in the next verse in Genesis 2 verse 6 it says, but there was a cloud that watered the plain of the earth or earth. So the earth from empty become not empty because of plants sprout after the rain. According to Genesis 1 verse 11 to 12, and we can also read in Job 38 verse 26 to 27 that God makes it rain so that the plant grows. It is clear that there is no contradiction in the Bible. This is the part of the time where God will make Eden out of the water. He will make a path on earth like rivers, which we will read in the next few paragraphs. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and let's discuss what else is on your mind. Thank you very much and God bless.